as an integrator, as a consultant, as a service provider, whatever you want to call it, it's obviously always in our best interest to say yes to our customers. Obviously, we want to win the work and we want to develop good relationships, but I'd say there's a difference between saying yes and being able to say yes with confidence, saying it with your chest. And that's something that Ignition, gives me the confidence to do when we're looking at these complex applications that may not have a simple path forward. So saying that, I'd like to talk about our project today. So this is a customer that's right here in our own backyard in North Carolina in the metals manufacturing industry. They had a custom-built Visual Basic application in conjunction with some HMIs spread throughout the plant, running their entire production system from entering work orders to production to testing to inventorying and shipping and receiving. These were all, as I said, custom built, spread throughout the plant, Windows XP machines in very specific areas. So if you had to perform a function in your work order entry system, you had to go to that PC. If you had to perform a function in the shipping and receiving area, you had to go to that PC. So it was a very complex system. It was very isolated and spread out, and also basically unmaintainable. The people who had developed this software no longer worked for this company, so if they ever needed patches or maintenance or any sort of tech support like that, they were basically relying on the goodwill of these ex-employees in order to get that done. On top of that, we had licenses for all this software spread out throughout the plant on these legacy Windows XP machines that, for obvious reasons, they wanted to get rid of, but they're a security risk and also an operations risk. This started out as open spec. I went in there and I audited their whole system, and immediately I was able to come to the conclusion that they needed Ignition just because of the different business functions that this application had to perform outside of the plant floor operations. And then also the fact that we weren't going to have access to the source code for the existing application. And I knew that just looking at what they were doing in VBA and with their database transactions, I could just say, yep, Ignition can handle all that, no problem. So let's just jump in and start building something. So we developed an application in Perspective to unify all of these different programs. We consolidated all of these different licenses into a single Ignition gateway license that was controlled by their IT department and located in a secure environment under lock and key, automated backups, and the whole bit. So right there, we eliminated a huge risk for the plant by getting rid of these legacy PC systems that, if they ever shut off, and would not start back up for whatever reason, they would have to scramble to try and figure out how to rehost the licenses that were on those machines onto a new PC in order to get them back up and running. And part of this, where the unlimited licensing really flexes its power, is as we were developing this application, we started gaining the attention of other people within the plant that previously had had no visibility into their plant floor operations. So we deployed additional clients when we got to the conclusion of the project, to the plant manager, to IT, to the shipping and receiving manager, to the maintenance office at no additional cost. They just said they wanted to see the SCADA on their screen, and so we pointed them to the URL and they were able to pull it up and get visibility that they had never had before. And shortly after we completed this project, CrowdStrike, as I'm sure everyone here on the call is aware, back in the summer, they had that massive global IT outage after that bad patch. And while they were working on the fix for that, our customer replaced the PCs on the plant floor and pointed to the URL, brought up the Perspective application, and they were back up and running, within hours of this outage happening, which is a really huge deal. With the traditional SCADA licensing models, you would have been fighting against rehosting and doing offline activations probably for a couple of days while you tried to figure this out. Don mentioned, future-proofing earlier in the presentation. So we have other projects that we're looking at the plant, and my customer can have the peace of mind that we're not going to be charging them for any additional license costs. When we're ready to connect the other PLCs to Ignition, we'll just type in the IP address and get online, and we can start building screens for them. And probably what is most critical for this customer is that they are in control again. So they obviously own everything on their site. They have all the source code. They have all of our Ignition work located there on their gateway. They're not reliant anymore on these people that live a few time zones away and can only support their system off of work hours. So that was a tremendous risk for them that we were able to solve by putting in an ignition system. And they're very happy with it and are considering more plants for the same type of system that we built. So thank you very much.